Good afternoon. Welcome to The Politics Show in the South West. The eyes of the nation have been focused on Jersey this week. The continuing investigation into allegations of child abuse has raised fundamental questions about the way the island is governed, both there and at Westminster. The island is independent of the United Kingdom, but relies on the UK government for defence and representation in foreign affairs. Like any modern democracy, it has a parliament and regular elections. However, the current crisis on Jersey is raising questions about reform and whether the island is really able to keep its own house in order without more direct supervision from London. Chris Rogers reports.
The search continues for clues, for evidence of what really went on at Haute de la Garenne, and for corroboration of the increasing allegations of child abuse many years ago. The eyes of the world are focused on a tiny island with a population the size of Exeter.
90,000, 91,000 people, and with virtually complete domestic autonomy over the whole range of policy, UK government responsible for defence and international relations, and an assembly, a states assembly, with a council of ministers, and that government and that parliament have more powers than the Scottish government and parliament.
Attention is lavished on the island for what many there feel are the wrong reasons. Jersey should be all about financial security, the trappings of wealth and healthy tourism. Instead, it's in the middle of accusations of almost medieval bestiality. So far, with little hard, independent evidence, but growing anecdotal support. Those in authority are in the spotlight.
Has there been a cover-up? Absolutely not. But if there has, I say not because I have no evidence of a cover-up. But if there has, and I've made this very clear in interviews a couple of days ago, then anyone involved in a cover-up will be investigated as vigorously and as thoroughly as anyone who may have perpetrated these horrendous crimes in the first place. There will be no
evidence and accusations started a while ago.
That routine punishment, isolation, in that scenario, without question, is absolute institutional abuse.
I used to think about my funeral.
In January, this programme brought the first TV revelation of claims that children as young as 13 had routinely suffered solitary confinement in Jersey's secure unit for children. The claims are denied by the present management, though that hasn't stopped the accusations.
What the States of Jersey did to him, we've abused him, we have damaged that boy, we have harmed him, we have messed him up.
Stuart Syvret, the sacked Health and Social Services Minister, considered by some as a maverick and a troublemaker, by others as a crusader. A thorn in the flesh of the Jersey establishment for years, a decade ago over financial secrecy in the island. Then he was suspended from the States, the Parliament.
This is a press conference I called. Senator Syvret has basically muscled in on it.
An increasingly abrasive relationship with fellow politicians developed about the way he later raised questions of alleged child abuse. That led to his dismissal last year. For him, Haute de la Garenne has provided a justification for his previous stance and his current concern.
I think the actual underlying cause of the current controversy is the island's system of government. We have 6 decades of largely concealed, unreported and unpunished child abuse. Now, for that kind of succession of cover-ups to go on for so long, there has clearly got to be a structural problem with the way public administration works. And clearly there is. And that has to change. We have to have independent prosecutors, for example. We have to have an independent judiciary. We can no longer continue to have this profoundly unhealthy overlap between the legislature and the judiciary. All of these changes are necessary in order to ensure that people are protected and the community is well governed.
The problem in small communities is avoiding conflicts of interest, people in power being too close to events and to other people in power. A start has been suggested by an English MP and friend of Senator Syvret, who's tabled a Commons early day motion calling for an independent inquiry into child abuse on Jersey.
In a small, intimate society, things get suppressed and people, don't want to rock the boat because they know people are involved and they don't want to confront people personally or exercise proper control. That comes with a bigger society and independent structures. So we need those in Jersey, and they have to be extended from the mainland to the island.
And the mainland, the UK government, is an important player.
The islands are not part of the UK. They owe their allegiance, as they're very proud of saying, to the Crown. But of course the powers of the Crown are in fact exercised by the Lord Chancellor, and there's a Channel Island desk in the Ministry of Justice. Now, the point is that the bailiff, the senior judge on the island, and also the presiding officer of the States, and the deputy bailiff and the Attorney General and the Solicitor General are all appointed, technically, by the Lord Chancellor, acting on behalf of the monarch.
So UK government ministers have a way of exerting quiet pressure for change if they decide that a new and maybe better way of governance is necessary.
I don't, sadly, believe that the island's establishment actually accept or recognise that and are capable of making the change themselves. Therefore, I do believe, unfortunately, it's going to take external pressure from London to make the necessary changes to make our society safe.
I think change will only happen, or significant change to Jersey's government is only likely to happen if three forces are, as it were, in concert. Those three forces are the UK government prodding, persuading, the states of Jersey, and remember this isn't a homogenous group, there are politicians with varying views, but if there's a general movement for change among the states, and finally, and thirdly, and perhaps most importantly of all, the Jersey electorate, who will be casting their verdict on these same politicians this October and this November. And if there is a mood for change among all three, then I think change is likely to happen in the new states after December this year.
For the moment, the Ministry of Justice will only say that everyone should focus on the police investigation. That's what the Jersey executive is doing. But these are the beginnings of what could yet be the biggest social crisis on the island since the German occupation of World War II, the last time that Jersey buried its bad memories.
Well, we asked Jersey's Chief Minister Frank Walker to join us live on the programme to discuss these issues, but he declined.